As you learn about the narcissistic pattern, it's also wise to reflect on the much healthier alternatives. Now, below you're going to find a link to my new extensive course called Ready, Set, Connect. It addresses both the mindset and the skills involved in gratifying relationships, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. As you can imagine, through the years of talking with individuals and reading comments and having communications in many different ways with a lot of people who have to live with narcissistic individuals, you know that I hear a great deal of futility and frustration from other individuals. I mean, there's so much about the narcissistic pattern of life that just simply doesn't rise to the level of common sense. I mean, I want you to think about it. Notice some of the key ingredients of narcissism. These individuals have convinced themselves that I need to be in control over you. That's not common sense. Or they think to themselves, my yearnings are far more important than yours. Or they think, if you have opinions that differ from mine, it just means you're wrong. Categorically, you're wrong. Or in their minds, they think there's no particular upside for me to tune into you, so why should I bother with that? Then they also think, now, if I can use you, then you and I can have a relationship, but if you no longer are utile in a way that suits me, then forget about it, go away. All of this sets up one huge question that's part of the futility that you can experience with these individuals, that every single person who deals with a narcissist would like to ask out loud. And that simple question is, what's the point? Where are you going with this? What are you hoping to accomplish? Is this what you call success? And then we go back to that one question, what's the point here? Now, there's so much about the narcissistic pattern of life and the futility that I'm describing here that sets up this what's the point question that we can actually come up with many corollary questions that would go right along with that. Let me see if I can run through a few of those with you. The illogic of the narcissistic pattern can set up questions like, why is it so important for you to build yourself up at someone else's expense? Can you explain that one to me? What's the point there? Or what's going on with that ever-present agenda of yours? Do you really think that it's necessary to coerce and force feed your agenda, your insistence, your persuasion upon me and everybody else so strongly? What's the point in all of that? Are you the only one that has thoughts and preferences that matter? Or another question this can set up, and that is, why are you so threatened whenever I think or feel differently from you? Is simple acceptance of differentness that hard? And to them, of course, they'll say no. They'll just say you're an idiot. But what's the point? Why is that so threatening? And why do you respond with such defensiveness when someone says, I disagree? Or another question this can set up, and that is, do you feel content after you've belittled someone? If so, what does that tell us? And if not, then why continue with the insults and the criticisms that are so common from you? What's the point? Why do you continue to do that? Or a further question that you might want to ask is, did you know that it is actually possible to resolve or at least discuss our differences without you having become a jerk in the process? Why is your anger so intense? Why does your frustration just take over to the point where you completely lose your sense of civility? What's going on there? What's the point to that? And then, by the way, who appointed you as the keeper of truth? Would you consider the possibility of growing due to tuning in to someone else's thoughts? Does that ever occur to you? And then also that guilt and that shame that you thrust onto other individuals. Are you blemish-free? What's the point when you keep coming at people with that kind of mindset? Do you understand what I'm saying? And as I'm going through these kind of questions, I'm sure that so many of you can think, oh, I have thought those questions over and over for many times, and I never get a reasonable kind of answer. There are certain things that I know that you would like to say to that narcissistic individual. Maybe it wouldn't do you any good, or they certainly would belittle you for saying it. But let me see if I can put some voice to some of the comments that you might like to share with that narcissist as you're trying to ask them to consider what's the point. For example, you might want to say to that narcissist, you know what? I'm a decent person, and I'm deserving of respect. If not respect, then at least a certain amount of civility. Could you agree with me on that? What do you think the narcissist is going to say there? Or you might want to say to that narcissist, and there's something else I'd like you to know about me, and that is, I matter. Contrary to your exclusive mindset, where you exclude people who are just a little bit different from you, why is it so important for you to deny that simple truth? What's going on with that? Why can you not say, yeah, in fact, you do matter. I acknowledge that. That's too hard for most narcissists. Or it might be that you'd want to say something like, if you spoke with me consistently in a reasonable fashion, you might be surprised at what kind of synergy we might be able to share. Would you like to give it a go? What do you think the odds are of that happening? Or you might want to say to that narcissist, hey, look, I make blunders. I am a flawed person. I've made mistakes. And if you hang around with me a little bit longer, you're going to find out that some more are on the way, although I'm working at it. Could we say the same about you? Can you acknowledge that you too are in that same category with me? Or do you just feel like you just have to focus only on my negatives? And if you've been around a narcissist for any extended period of time, you know what the answer to that one likely is. Another thing you might want to say to that person, and that is, I know you like having the freedom to think and feel and have the opinions as you do. Is there a compelling reason for you to say that I don't share that same freedom with you in reverse? Why is it that you deny me the privilege to think for myself, or to just simply be what I am, separate from what you might be? What's the point? You see, there are so many things like this that you could come to the narcissist with, and like I say, there's hardly anything about their mindset that rises to the level of common sense or reasoning. But then let's see if we can turn it around and recognize there are certain things about that narcissist that I'm hoping you can come to terms with as you're asking that seminal question, what's the point? And as we are able to hold on to these notions, I'm hoping that it can remind you that you're going to need to move on despite some of their inability or at least unwillingness to listen to your question, what's the point? For example, one of the things that I would say to that narcissist, if I had the opportunity and if there was the possibility that they would listen, I would say this: I know you're hurting because you've been hurt in prior relationships, and now you're showing me what that has done to you. I wish that you could stop displacing your pain onto me. I wish that you could come to terms with that hurt that drives you so strongly in your adversarial way of life. Another thing that you might want to say is, despite your denials, I've come to the conclusion that you're an emotional weakling. It takes strength and courage to say the words, I need help, but I realize that wouldn't fit with the persona that you're trying to project to the world out there. I get it. Another thing that you might want to say, and that is, I realize you have needs just like the rest of us, Would you like to see if I could list some of those needs out for you? I know you need to feel significant. I know you have a need for acceptance, even to the point of admiration. I know you have a desire to belong, at least to someone or to some place or some group. I know you want to feel heard. That's a legitimate need. I know that you need other individuals at times to be patient with you. I know there are times when you need forgiveness. I know that you need to have a feeling of happiness. And I know you need to have a sense of purpose and meaning. I know that you want to have a sense of achievement and accomplishment. You need to have loyalty. That all makes total sense to me. Would it be possible for you to try to pursue those needs in a way that says, why don't we do this together? Why don't we do this with each other? Because I know you share the same needs as I do. Let's put our heads together and reason as two individuals who might be able to assist each other along the way. You know, I don't begrudge the fact that narcissists have their needs. I wish no evil upon them. But I understand also that as they try to come to terms with their needs, somehow they reasoned and rationalized to themselves that the best way to meet their needs is to diminish and belittle other individuals. And I don't understand that. What's the point? I've learned that the best way to find stability and peace is to share the effort with other individuals, to spread goodness as widely as possible, to live with love as being your primary theme. And I've also concluded that if you're not able to do that, you've missed the point. And so we go back and say, yeah, there's a lot of futility that goes along with dealing with narcissistic individuals. And you throw up your shoulders, you shrug your shoulders, throw up your hands and say, what's the point? Well, the point to them is I've got to be important, and the way I'm important is for you to be less so. And you know what? I'm not playing along with that. The point for me is goodness and love. Dr. C, DRC stands for dignity, respect, and civility. I think we can get along with each other with those characteristics leading the way. And if you can't do it, you've missed the boat, haven't you? Now, I hope that videos such as this can give you some good insight with respect to what you're dealing with. I hope that I'm able to voice some thoughts and ideas that can resonate with you. I appreciate you letting me be on your journey with you. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We'll keep more videos coming at you. I know there are times when it would be good for you to receive some sort of therapy, and you know that I've been sponsored for years now by the people at betterhelp.com. There's a whole team of licensed professional therapists. If you have that need, there's a link below that will take you to their website. It's affordable, it's accessible. You have to fill out a few forms, that's all, and then you can choose a therapist that you could work with. Please seek the help that you need. Likewise, you know that I have my video classes. It's like signing up for an online course. They're very extensive. Each course has multiple videos with written documents, guided questions, and they're meant to walk you through the process of making some healthy adjustments. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making good connection skills. Free to Be about finding yourself despite those controllers. This is me establishing your boundaries. We also have my webinars that have already been presented. We have our podcast, my website with many articles, my books, plenty of resources. You want to ask that narcissist, what's the point? Where are you going with this? You're not going to get a straight answer. My heart goes out to you as I know that you're struggling with the futility of it all, but I'm hoping you can decide, well, I know what the point of my life is. My life stands for goodness, and that's what I want to be. That's what I want to live into. And as you do so, I'm hoping you can find that despite that narcissist who doesn't get the point at all, you can be a person who's committed and is able to live into peace.